Help me help you, I suppose. This is Newsroom. Hello and welcome from Johannesburg here in South Africa. My name, of course, is Eben Jansen. The show is live. It's broadcast from our studios here in Auckland Park. Remember, we're also streaming live on YouTube right now, so you can watch us there. Also, the whole show is available a bit later on demand on our YouTube channel. Today, the conversation is with Eskom about the country's power outlook up front. Then we move on to real economic empowerment. It's a question we'll ask and try and answer here today. Then we look at the rise of Slacktivism on the internet. You've seen the patronizing hashtags that do nothing but allow celebrities and some of you to indulge yourself. Also, there's a big football derby here in South Africa this weekend. But before we get there, let's get the news with Katrina Malan.
Well, hello and welcome to Newsroom. I'm Katrina Malan, and let's take a look at the top stories this morning. The number of South Africans killed in the Nigerian building collapse has risen to 84. The South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Lulu Louise Nguni, released the figure this morning during an interview with SAFM. The Commissioner also announced that the search for survivors was called off yesterday, and those people not accounted for are now presumed dead. 10 South African citizens have been positively identified among those who are confirmed to have been killed. Police Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko is expected to release the 2013-14 annual crime statistics in Pretoria later today. Exactly a year ago, the numbers showed that serious crimes such as murder, burglary, aggravated robbery and hijackings had gone up. Nathi Mthethwa, who was the police minister at the time, revealed that the number of murders had increased by 0.6%. At the time, one expert described the crime statistics as the worst figures seen in 10 years. However, National Police Commissioner Ria Piecha has said crime in South Africa was under control. Outgoing Reserve Bank Governor Jill Marcus says an announcement will be made soon on who will succeed her and that there is enough talent in the bank to fill her position when she retires in November. Her announcement caused a minor panic in the markets and led to the rand weakening to its worst levels against the US dollar in 7 months. Marcus, who has guided Africa's most advanced economy through 5 years of post-financial crisis turbulence, gave no clues as to who would succeed her.
I think we have an outstanding team, and therefore I am quite comfortable saying that I'm very happy that whoever the President chooses to succeed as the next governor will continue with the strength of this institution and do an excellent job.
And in African news, 8 bodies, including those of 3 journalists, were found after an attack on a team trying to educate locals on the risks of the Ebola virus in a remote area of southeastern Guinea. According to a government spokesman, the 8 bodies were found in the village latrine. 3 of them had their throats slit. The gruesome discovery came as the World Health Organization said more than 700 more Ebola cases had emerged in West Africa in the past week.
This is not just a public health crisis. This is a social crisis, a humanitarian crisis, an economic crisis, and a threat to national security well beyond the outbreak zones.
And then moving to the UK, and it appears the campaign for Scottish independence has accepted defeat this morning after a slim majority of Scottish voters rejected independence from the UK and are in favour of keeping a more than 300-year-old union with England. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond accepted the defeat, but says that after a huge turnout, it will never be business as usual in Scottish politics again.
And Scotland has, by majority, decided not at this stage to become an independent country. I accept that verdict of the people, and I call on all of Scotland to follow suit in accepting the democratic verdict of the people of Scotland.
Now that story and more of our top stories are all available on our Newsroom Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter at SABC Newsroom. Eben, over to you.
Thank you very much, Katrina. Now, earlier this week, we were told that South Africa has up to 5 years to go before its electricity supply crisis is over, and that consumers may well face limited power cuts this coming summer. At a joint meeting of Parliament's Energy and Public Enterprises Committees, Eskom acting Chief Executive Colin Machila said it would be 2019 before plans that the power utility have in place will all come together. Last Sunday, government also announced a support package for Eskom that will see it raise about $4 billion in additional debt and also receive an equity injection from the government. Now, joining us today is Eskom spokesperson Andrew Etzinger. Good morning, Andrew. Thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure, Eben.
Must be a tough job you have. You always get lambasted in the media, no matter what you do. Just tell us about developments this week. It started with the announcement of the support package on Sunday. How has things developed?
We can't comment, unfortunately, from Eskom's side on the support package. This is still within the domain of National Treasury. They will be giving us the details. Of course, it sounds very promising, given our financial situation. But it's up to National Treasury and our own shareholder, the Department of Public Enterprises, to comment at the moment. Once we get the details, very different. Please invite me back at that stage. But at the moment, I'm sorry, I can't give any
just give us an insight. How desperate you talk about the financial situation. How desperate is it?
Well, of course, we are facing a downgrade by our rating agencies. In fact, Standard & Poor's have said that unless they see a turnaround, we would be further downgraded by the end of September. So a lot of pressure to make sure that our finances are shored up and solidified. We are in a difficult position. We did receive less in terms of our price increases that are coming through than we had applied for. And I think that the rating agencies are seeing it the same way. So fortunately, government has been very supportive, very responsive, and we understand that there is assistance on the way, which we're hoping will avert the downgrade. Very important because Eskom borrows a lot of money locally and internationally in order to fund its new build program. If we do see a downgrade, that of course would affect the cost of borrowings and the extent to which we could borrow, which would have an impact then on our ability to build new power stations for the country. So hopefully this is coming together well.
I saw you made a statement earlier in the week. You said Eskom's not in the business of making money. Eskom's in the business of creating power security for the country.
Yep.
Shouldn't we make money in order to achieve that?
We certainly do, but I think our primary objective is that we must make sure that we provide the power to power the economy and to power society. In order to do that, of course, we need cash. We must be a business, and in fact, an efficient-run business, a well-run business. But at the end of the day, our mandate isn't to make super profits. So when we talk about price increases, they're not there to, once again, pass dividends through to a shareholder. Eskom doesn't pay dividends. Yeah. Everything is plowed back into our program. So that was the context of the discussion, and I think the quote is really to say that we are here for our customers. We are not here for a sort of a private shareholder or whatever. Our mandate is very clear.
We see pictures now of Medupi running on screen there, Andrew. Just give us a little update on what's the latest with Medupi. And, we're now almost 90 days away from switching on the first phase.
Fantastic news that we are as close as we are. We were there over the weekend to have a look at the latest progress. And, yes, we are now 95 days away from the switching on, if you like, of the first unit, the first generator at Medupi. It's looking very, very good. There'll be 6 generators at Medupi finally coming on stream. This is the first of them. We will be linking it to the grid by the end of this year. It will be tested in the first 6 months of next year, so it won't be producing full power over that period, but we'll put it into what we refer to as commercial operation as soon as possible. So great news for the country as a whole. It will be the 4th biggest coal-fired power station in the world. Great example of South African engineering and ingenuity. That's something we can all be proud of.
Lots of new technology and the like. It's certainly a big step forward on our power grid. But I wanted to come back to localize it a little bit and talk to you about one of the burning issues in the media this week, and I think something that sits uncomfortable with the public especially, is collections of money from municipalities. The taxpayer feels that they are the ones being held accountable a little bit if you can't collect monies from municipalities, the likes of City Power and so forth. And I think we have more than 13 billion rand outstanding. How are you going to look to get money out of these service providers? Because surely this would be a way for you to help ease the path going forward.
Most definitely. And again, it comes back to the point that Eskom must be a sustainable business. We need to get the revenues into Eskom's bank account as soon as possible. and very efficiently. And we're glad to say that in the main, municipalities in particular pay on time, and including City Power, by the way, are absolutely fine. In fact, all the metros are great. They pay us. There are a few exceptions in the Free State in particular, and in Mpumalanga, where we are battling to get the necessary revenues. It's not 13 billion, fortunately. We're looking at 3 billion rand of arrears, which we are in the process of collecting. We've taken it up with national government, provincial government, a lot of pressure. What we are mindful of is that while we have the right to disconnect a municipality, within the municipality are customers, of course, who have paid their accounts to the local municipality, and it would be devastating. So we've got to be very careful.
That number is then grossly exaggerated, as things often are. But finally, wanted to just point out a fact. South Africa's electricity, despite all the raises we've had, is still amongst the cheapest in the world. Is that accurate?
That's correct, and that was confirmed in a study, I believe, by Frost & Sullivan recently, so a well-known research company. So yes, electricity prices are going up, and I think we understand that our customers are feeling the pain, but again, very, very competitive, both for industry as well as homeowners when we look at other countries around the world.
Andrew, thank you for joining us today and demystifying this very, very taxing week it must have been for you guys. Hopefully you can come back and give us a little bit more insight into this package and how it's going to make life a little bit better for all South Africans and those living in Southern Africa that depend on Eskom to keep the lights on. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Now we move on. Where does real economic empowerment lie? That is the million-dollar question everyone is asking, and there have been a lot of theories. But could it be as easy as simply investing in your own staff? Well, Christina Watson, the CEO of Via Africa Publishers, believes that real economic empowerment lies in more than trading BEE shares or points, but actually in investing in empowerment by investing in your staff, which she says is an investment into our future. At Via Africa, skills development isn't just another box to be ticked off on a BE scorecard, but let's talk to Christina herself to tell us a little bit more about how they see this. She joins us in our Cape Town studio this morning. Good morning, Christina.
And good morning, Eben.
Just give us the broad strokes, how you think about staff investment being a real kicker in economic empowerment in South Africa.
Okay. Via Africa Publishers is, of course, publishers of educational material. And I must say representation and transformation in the publishing industry traditionally has not been what it's supposed to be. And as the educational publisher, we serve a diverse market, a market with diverse cultures and diverse approaches and frames of references. And there's absolutely no justification from our side that we have a staff complement that doesn't mirror that diversity in the market. So for us, that's the first point of departure. We do have, as part of all our senior managers' key performance areas, the achievement of transformation targets as a set goal, and these targets are definitely non-negotiable. We are currently in the company a representation from the previously disadvantaged groups. Our percentage is at 64%. And on a managerial level for this year, our target is 61%, and we will probably exceed that.
And what is your advice then to major corporate companies in South Africa that seem to have real battles on their hand in dealing with real economic empowerment?
Yeah. We spend a lot of money in training. We do believe that everybody should have the opportunity to grow to their full potential. So we spend money on short courses, on giving people bursaries to advance their skills, on learnerships. So training across all skills level in the company is quite important. We're currently a level 3 contributor, and I do think that what contributes to that is that we do not only build capacity within the company, we do build capacity in the larger marketplace as well. We sit with an author base currently of about 1,200 people, of which 68% is from the previous disadvantaged groups. And the way we achieve that is we train authors, we spend a lot of time in training authors, but then we also pair inexperienced authors with experienced writers on projects so that they can gain expertise and that they can gain knowledge. And we've really seen that being a very successful strategy to follow. So the capacity building, I believe, should extend beyond your own organization into the marketplace in which you operate.
Bring home some of the success stories for us, Christina, and then also tell us what type of academic qualifications are we talking about.
Well, in the publishing industry, you know, you can enter the industry having a degree that you've obtained of one of the 3 universities that offer it in South Africa. We also have people coming from journalism. But then we also have a lot of people that has a matric when they enter the organisation. And our approach has always been to expose people to as much as possible that's happening in the organisation so that people can get beyond their point where they really inexperienced and really know only the little bit that they've learned. So we expose people, we involve them in decision making, and the advantage that we found there is that we do build a new institutional knowledge, but we also get very fresh perspectives and fresh ideas from people that we expose in this way. So basically across all skills levels, we find employment in our organisation. You don't necessarily have to have a publishing degree or publishing experience. We like to employ people that we can build within the organisation as well.
And what's the kind of reaction that you then get from these people, and then the sort of long-term view? What sort of time frames are you working with?
You know, sometimes we find it difficult because people don't like to leave the zone of comfort, and we pressurize people to expose themselves, to go out there and to experience, to participate in forums where they would not necessarily feel comfortable exposing themselves to. Because if you push them, they will push themselves. And if they do it for the first time and they experience that they can do it. So there's a lot of pressure on our staff to go out there and to gain experience and to come back and to share it with the rest of us. And we have very lovely success stories there of staff members that goes into really deeply rural areas where they engage with the people, where they do capacity building. We're currently on a big digital educational drive, and we do a lot of training in rural areas. And to see our staff members, they don't come from a teaching background, they don't have teaching degrees, they just feel passionate about the knowledge that they have, to go into these areas and to share that knowledge and to build capacity there with rural teachers that's 71 years old, that's never touched a tablet, and suddenly she's teaching a grade R class, making use of tablet technology. That's very exciting to witness.
Christina, fantastic. Great work you guys do, and thank you for joining us. Christina Watson, the CEO of Via Africa Publishers, joining us live out of Cape Town. Thank you.
Thank you, Eben. Thanks.
Well, time for us to take a look at what you're talking about on social media today. Of course, it's been a very hectic news week. The building collapse still very much on people's minds. And Zinga Kunta says at SABC Newsroom, Nigeria collapse, TV Joshua, tensions running high on the SABC Newsroom set. Yes, that was yesterday. Tensions were running high because we were dealing with grieving families who were left unattended. The question, why are people traveling to Nigeria for a church service, is irrelevant, says Mushlaba. Bay Grill says, so we've sent rescuers to the collapse site. Excuse me, but has Ebola been eradicated from that region? Is a question that Bay Grills ask. Bokenza says, media reported that the building collapsed because of the weak structure, but some are quick to blame it on Boko Haram. Yes, a mysterious substance was sprayed in the air that made the building collapse, said the pastor on the show yesterday. Truth be told, if the Nigeria collapse was not designed, it wouldn't have fallen aside, I would think, simultaneously. Someone is responsible. Yes, somebody's been flouting the building regulations, not just in that country, but in the world. And how do you spray a mysterious substance from an aircraft onto a building that causes it to collapse? They must take responsibility for building on top of an existing structure and therefore costing the lives of dozens and dozens of people. Let's take a look at the front pages from around the world today. In Europe, papers are, of course, looking at Scotland's decision to stay in the United Kingdom now after spurning independence in yesterday's historic referendum. There, the Independent has a range of photos showing yesterday's events on the front page. Then the Herald in the United Kingdom is also looking at that story, saying referendum day broke all UK election records with the massive turnout we saw at the polls there. And despite all the controversy surrounding the church guest house collapse in Lagos, the vanguard in Nigeria is not focusing on that. They're focusing on 200 Boko Haram terrorists who've been killed by Nigerian army soldiers. I find that disgraceful, to be honest. We've looked all over the Nigerian papers. There's no reporting, none whatsoever, on the wires that we see on the building collapse where so many people have lost their lives, as if it's not happening there. This weekend, the world will remember that the more than 60 people who lost their lives in the Westgate Mall attack in Nairobi this time last year. On 21 September, Somalia's Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab militants armed with AK-47 stormed the prestigious mall in Kenya and started shooting randomly, killing innocent men, women and children. The mall remains closed until this day, although major renovations, they say, are currently underway there. You're watching Newsroom on SABC News. We'll be back shortly.
I once saw a flower blossom through 27 prison bars of yesterday's unjust flames. I felt an old woman's anticipation for the country's first open elections. And I heard the loud celebrations of that flower's historic inauguration. I was there when Unity sang of how the Springbok never held anything back. And we saw a first-time band of 11 men, Shibobo possibility throughout the land. At the foot of Africa, time remembers how truth can reconcile a people. We carved our name into space, and on the world stage, our art stood united. When we blow that vuvuzela, the whole world goes into a trance. And even in that tearful hour of the flower's separation, we are a people who see the music and hear the flowers dance. SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsroom on SABC News. Now, today's social media culture allows everyone to be an activist, it seems. But do online campaigns really actually make a difference? You may recall the latest ALS Ice Bucket Challenge or the all-too-popular hashtag Bring Back Our Girls campaign. Thanks, Michelle. The so-called online campaign phenomenon has a name. It's now called Slacktivism, a term coined to describe passive involvement in political or social campaigns via social media. People like, share or retweet for a cause, but never offer any real time, or they don't even get physically involved at all. Well, today we are joined by a panel of social media experts here to talk to us about this topic. Now, Jodine Scher is with us from Cape Town, in our Cape Town studio. Is a journalist and media theory expert, Joanne Carrier. Good morning to you. And then our resident, as always, Tonya Kuri from Roy Africa. Thanks, Tonya.
Good morning.
Tonya, now, just put us in the picture. You've brought some graphs and stuff you want to look at. Just let's go through that and just set the scene for us a little bit.
So, Eben, what we do is we collect and collate data from over 200 million platforms. Those are social media platforms and then a whole bunch of news platforms as well. And it's always interesting to measure the news impact on social media, but in certain instances, social media creates news, and the Ice Bucket Challenge was exactly that. When at the time of James Foley's beheading, we found that the Ice Bucket Challenge was actually bigger than the beheading on social media, and that's just a crazy statistic.
Yeah, I didn't do the Ice Bucket Challenge because I thought it was stupid, to be honest, but that's only my opinion.
Well,
Well, I mean, Eben, you make a good point, right? So what did people gain from that? Yes, there was an awareness drive. I certainly didn't know what ALS was before, but did people contribute money? Did it help cure the disease? I'm not so sure. So what you're looking at there on the right is the Ice Bucket Challenge in social media versus news. And what I found fascinating is how the two mirror each other. So as much as the social media carried it, so the news element carried it as well. Yeah. And I think this is where social media actually ends up being the news. And that was quite interesting. If you have a look a little bit further down, we see how Gaza and ISIS feature in social media versus news. And remember, now these were all sort of at the same time. And you'll see that Gaza here, there was one massive peak on social media on the 18th of July, and immediately after its news peaked. Again, social media making the news, dictating the news, which is fascinating.
Fascinating it is, but it doesn't improve or make a difference or does anything. I find it a little bit backward that you can take a selfie with a hashtag and think you're making the world better. What is your view?
My biggest concern is that we used to have something that we were truly passionate about, and that would be our focus. It would be our charity. It would be our mission to make a difference on that. Yeah. Now we're trying to save everything, completely save the world and do a little bit of everything. But what are you genuinely passionate about? Where do you want to commit yourself and make sure from beginning to end that you have made a difference? And for me, that's the biggest concern with all of this.
Let's go to Cape Town and try and get a different perspective. What are your views on what we are talking about?
Unfortunately, my perspective is not very different. It's very similar, in fact. I do think that what these things are doing is we can't deny that they are raising awareness. I mean, people are talking about it. We're talking about it, which I think means that they are serving a certain purpose. Unfortunately, as your other guests have said, they aren't really being accompanied by actual physical action. People aren't going out and volunteering. 9 times out of 10, people aren't donating money. They aren't staging, hunger strikes or anything like that. So what are we actually physically achieving? And I think that's part of the issue, and that's part of the critique of the whole thing.
What is our role in the media then? We have a role to play, certainly, in the media, in arresting this decline in humanity.
I suppose as the media, you need to engage with the issue, but I think we also need to be encouraging people to actually do something. Liking something on Facebook or posting a no makeup selfie, it's not going to cure cancer, it's not going to solve any big world ills. So I think as the media, it's our responsibility also to encourage people to actually act and to donate and to promote that second step of the process.
Tonya, is it also our responsibility then in the media to not brandish these hashtags all over our screens, all over our radios and so forth, because it does nothing?
I think that's very important that there's a call to action. And that call to action is not to chuck a bucket of ice water on your head. That call to action is to make a difference to whatever it is you are passionate about, like you said earlier. And I think you're right, Eben, that there is a decline in our involvement in humanitarian causes because we believe by hitting like that we've done our bit. And I think this whole don't like, do campaign is actually what we should be focusing on.
I wanted to ask you about this kind of thing also. We saw a lot of this is the liking isn't helping campaign. The Bring Back Our Girls one was a big one. We had Michelle Obama with her picture, Bring Back Our Girls. How do you view that, especially with these kinds of people in big positions and celebrities especially? Celebrities love a selfie, don't they?
They do. And actually everyone loves a selfie. But I would love to just take a survey and ask people who did anything for Bring Back Our Girls, do they know where those girls currently are? And I watched it, in the time when we had that whole spurt of let's save the rhino, and we all really wanted to do that. It's gone dead quiet because other things have taken over. The next campaign is happening, but we still have that problem. And I don't know how we're going to rectify this because everyone's getting that moment of fame, and we know that that's what we just search for. One of the things that was very important to me was during that no makeup selfie time. Yeah. A friend of mine was going through cancer, and my thing was go to chemo. Yeah. Go give someone a meal instead of go
and sit and talk with somebody. Give an hour of your time. Give some comfort. Do something. Let's go back to Cape Town and just wrap up on your side. I want to ask you about, Joanne, I want to ask you about this era of self-obsession and whether this is the pinnacle of it, self-obsession that we live with in the media and on social media then.
I think the biggest part of the problem is it becomes an act of self-validation, personal promotion. You know, people want to be a part of the fad. They want to show that they're participating. But unfortunately, it's not really about the charitable effort anymore. It's not about the cause. It's more about me and showing that, you know, I look beautiful without makeup or whatever it may be. And so I think at the end of the day, people really do need to do their research. They need to find out what they're supporting, whether or not what they are doing is actually going to make a difference. If the money they do donate, if they do donate money, is going to go to a good cause, and if it is actually going to make a change. You know, if you look at the ALS thing, they raised $100 million. Will that cure ALS? Who knows? You know, will it help with the research? Chances are high, but you can't really say if that particular amount of money or if that effort actually is going to change anything. But I suppose in the same breath, you can also say that Wikipedia searches for ALS went up 18-fold. So awareness has been raised, but what that actually equates to, unfortunately, you can't really say.
And I would like to see then where that money is being spent going forward. But thank you for joining us today. I've got a very valid insights you gave us. We're going to wrap it up here in Joburg. Thank you. That's media theory expert Joan Carew joining us in Cape Town. Final remarks from you, Tonya. I know you're quite got a lot to say about this.
I think, Eben, the thing is social media can make an impact. I think it can raise awareness, firstly, and I think we can drive it to call to action. I think that this self-obsession does interfere with it, but it can be maximized. I think we're not doing it right.
What's the advice that you then give to people out there on social media, South Africans, people from around the continent, who see these campaigns, who see these kind of things online? Well, how should you interact with it and how should you manage it going forward?
The most important thing is to not lose focus on what is the main intention here. Because I know there's a lot of NGOs who are listening, there are a lot of charities who are listening, and they are turning to social media and they actually want our help. They want the voice of social media. So we don't want any of this to stop. We just wanted to have a better structure. And the only way to do that is to make it personal. Pick the campaigns that you truly believe in. You don't have to support everything. There are enough people in the world to make sure that everyone gets enough support. Pick what is important to you and then follow it through and take it online, take it offline, and just really work with something that is close to your heart.
Tonya, finally, how do we turn slacktivism then into a swear word in the online space?
I wish there was more following for slacktivism, and I hope this creates an awareness of the fact that we as people need to do something. Bring back our girls never brought back the girls. But ALS Challenge did raise awareness, but did it bring money into South Africa and its cause? I doubt it. It's, again, that self-obsession. We need to do. Don't like, do.
There we go. Don't like. Do. Get involved. Do something. Don't take selfies and put them on and show people you look pretty without makeup or your beautiful new shoes or whatever it is you want to show off. You've got your friends to do that at home. When we deal with serious issues, we are the human race. We need to do a little bit more to help each other. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us today. That's Jodine Sher, who's a social media expert, and then Tonya Kuries from Roy Africa. But let's take a look now at what's happening on our social media page. No slacktivism there? No. Kruger Lofeld says, spare a thought for the firefighting teams in the Kruger Park and Sabi Sand tonight. Yes, Kruger fire is burning a little bit out of control in the northern parts of the park there. Lolly says, thinking of the fire rangers battling the Kruger National Park fire. Yes, it's all hands on deck in the Kruger National Park. It's a dry time of the year and it seems as if it's fire raging out of control. In Sabi Sands, bushfire is raging out of control. And the Sabi Sands Reserve bordering the Kruger National Park. Yes, management posted yesterday that all managers are out busy fighting the fire head on. That's how difficult that scenario is playing itself out. It is the driest part of the year. And, well, nobody knows how this fire started, but it's causing absolute havoc in one of the most beautiful parts of our country. Time for us now to take a look at what's on our Newsroom Facebook page. Today, you'll see there that Trade Union Solidarity and the National Employers Association of South Africa, NIASA, are heading to the Labour Court again. Both parties want an urgent interdict against the metal and engineering industry after the latest wage agreement was sent to the Minister of Labour for gazetting. You'll also see that outgoing South African Reserve Bank Governor Joe Marcus says there's enough talent in the bank to fill her position when she retires in 2 months' time. And then that the police are expected to present a clear strategy on how to deal with crime when Police Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko releases the crime statistics for the year 2013 to March 2014 in about half an hour's time. You can find all of those stories and a whole lot more on Newsroom's Facebook page. We'll try and keep you updated on this crime stats on this very platform, and then we'll look at it on Monday. Twitter has been a buzz with photos of that bushfire raging out of control in the Sabi Sands Reserve. That's what we spoke about earlier. It's bordering the Kruger National Park, and the fire is really causing havoc there. Yesterday afternoon, the Game Reserve said everybody, including management, were out fighting the flames. Here you see some of the photos from visitors who have been in the area. Real problem we have. It's part of our heritage, beautiful part of our country. Let's hope not too many animals lose their lives there. You're watching Newsroom. We'll be back with more after a short little break.
The Swaziland Tourism Authority invited Kaleidoscope on a media tour of what has become known as the Little Switzerland of Africa, the Kingdom of Swaziland. The Mantanga Waterfall is one of Swaziland's best known and most accessible waterfalls, as it can be seen within 50 meters.
That's Kaleidoscope, Sundays 5:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Hello and welcome back. You with Newsroom on SABC News. Let's take a look at the top stories this morning. The number of South Africans killed in the Nigerian building collapse has risen to 84. The South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Lulu Louise Nguni, released the figure this morning during an interview with SAFM. The Commissioner also announced that the search for survivors was called off yesterday, and those people not accounted for are now presumed dead. 10 South African citizens have been positively identified among those who are confirmed to have been killed. Police Minister Nkosinathi Nhleko is expected to release the 2013-14 annual crime statistics in Pretoria later today. Exactly a year ago, the numbers showed that serious crimes such as murder, burglary, aggravated robbery and hijackings had gone up. Nathi Mthethwa, who was the police minister at the time, revealed that the number of murders had increased by 0.6%. At the time, one expert described the crime statistics as the worst figures seen in 10 years. However, National Police Commissioner Ria Piecha has said crime in South Africa was under control. Moving to the UK, and it appears the campaign for Scottish independence has accepted defeat this morning after a slim majority of Scottish voters rejected independence from the UK and are in favour of keeping a more than 300-year-old union with England. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond accepted the defeat, but says after a huge turnout, it will never be business as usual in Scottish politics again. That story and more all available on our Newsroom Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter at SABC Newsroom. Eben, over to you.
Thank you. Now, in light of Heritage Day next week, our SABC News team is in Komogas in the Northern Cape for a special reunion of 150 family members from all over the world of the first German missionary to the area and his Nama wife, the descendants of Zara and Heinrich Schmelen. Both brown and white will today come together in Kakamas to celebrate the unique and productive life and marriage between a European missionary and a Nama woman there in the area. The celebration aims to bridge the historic divide between black and white found within a single family. Now, we are joined live this morning by Ulrich Hendricks. Good morning, Ulrich.
Good morning, Eben.
Ulrich, just set this...
Eben, this is a tale.
Yeah, just set the scene first, man.
This is a tale of forbidden love, of a family unit, of history, of language development. It's a tale of almost 200 years ago, a Nama woman and a German getting married, translating and the Bible from English into Nama, getting people to set up a grammar structure that will see a Nama being written, Nama being developing now, that it's actually being taught in some schools in this area. So a lot of work from almost 200 years ago that people are reaping the fruit, basically, of their labor right now. Like you said, 150 descendants of Zara Hendricks, no relation, and Heinrich Schwemmer, starting to meet here from today. They'll basically be celebrating and the life and times and the achievements that the couple had during almost 200 years ago, and what is happening now. Also, because they were not recognized for the efforts that they put in. 200 years later, very few people know, even people from this area know what the achievements of the couple was. Well, to talk to us about this and what's going to happen this weekend, we have Dominee Christo present. Dominee, tell us what's going to happen. What do you have planned for this weekend?
It's a big weekend for us in Kakamas. What will happen is that we are waiting on all the descendants of Schmelen. They drove from Cape Town this morning. They will arrive about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock this afternoon. And then actually what we're going to do, we're going to show them what Kakamas is all about. We're going to show them what the people are doing, but also we're going to talk to them about what the legacy of Schmelen, like the churches, what he left behind for us in Kakamas.
Why do you think it's important to honor them at this stage?
You see, what happened is Zara was never recognized. And that is a very big achievement for us as people of Kakamas. Because one of Schmelen's descendants, Horst Kleinsmith, he took this unto him to come and to make this history known to us. Because we knew about it, but it wasn't like we will know it today. So what happened is lots of people in Kakamas are connected to Schmelen and to his family. And for the weekend to get here about 150 people from Europe, from America, from Namibia, all connected via Schmelen and Zara, it's a very, very big occasion for us this weekend.
The church behind us, this is where most of the work started. Zara and Heinrich Schmelen standing on that pulpit, Schmelen preaching in English, etc., and Zara then translating. These are all things that are already in books from missionaries, etc. But I understand that you are also planning to write a book about this achievement.
Yes, what happened is that there's a lady, Ursula Trooper, she wrote a book about Zara, because Zara was never recognized, nobody knew about her. And when she came here and she talked to us about it, it was such a big thing for us that they will come, somebody will write a book. The church you see behind us, this is the Dutch, Dutch Reformed Church, but this is a newer church. The original church is the one, you can't see it now, but the original church, we are not using it at the moment. But somebody must come, and that is what will happen from this occasion this weekend, that we want people, the descendants of Smeerland, to come and help this small community of Kakamas to see if we can take these churches and see if we can, what is the word for, to make it like a monument. You see, so that people can come and they can see the church. What happened at that time? It's 200 years back. Zara, a Nama woman, Smeerland, this missionary, and she helped him to translate the word, and so that the word can go out to all the people.
And that was basically the start of Christianity within this community.
In this community, that's right.
Okay. And what is going to happen during this weekend? There's a memorial service, I believe?
Yes. Okay, what happened is this afternoon they will come, and we'll take them down to a community hall, and then we will have people there, show them stuff, and tomorrow morning we'll take them to the grave of Smeerland, and we will have things there. Stuff will happen there, and after that we go back to the community hall where we just will enjoy the afternoon, and our community will do stuff for them, and then on Sunday we have the memorial service in the church.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Christo Present. He's one of the mission ministers in this community, and he's back to the studio.
Ulrich, thank you very much. Ulrich Hendricks, very interesting story. Of course, it's Heritage Month. Next week is Heritage Day, and we're taking a special look at what makes this country so beautiful and so special. How's that story? Ulrich will, of course, look at that and do some news packages that you can look forward to today and over the weekend. Now we conclude with a big talking point in sports over the weekend. The mouth-watering MTN finale between Orlando Pirates and arch rivals Kaizer Chiefs. It takes place at the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban tomorrow night. At stake is 8 million rand. Winner-takes-all price tag, and the game must be finished tomorrow. Now, Orlando Pirates spokesperson Mickey Morisani joins us live from Durban. Very good morning, Mickey. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh, we are.
But I wanted to first say that we also invited Kaizer Chiefs. Kaizer Chiefs refused to come. They're simply too busy, they say, to join us. So the Buccaneers are always the people's team. We can count on them. Thank you, Mickey. But tell us about your expectation for what will be a fantastic match and showcase for South African football in Durban tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good one. Good morning to the viewers at home. I think also from the club side, I think the great gods of football, they're also on our side because it's raining in Durban. So it's kind of like washing away all the troubles and the problems, that our fans will be faced with come tomorrow. So we're looking forward to a beautiful day of football, a spectacular, and an incident-free day. So hopefully the rain, that's what it brings. But also showering us with luck and also with best wishes. So yeah, from the club side, preparations have been going on very well, and we're quite excited because the coach resembles a very clean squad, a full squad. That's what we have. The latest being Tandani Nchumayelo, who therefore came back from an injury, and he actually, we thought at one stage that he was not going to make it, but after a scan that revealed on Monday that, it's all systems go for him. His thigh muscles, the strain that he experienced has now healed, and he does no longer experience discomfort. So we're quite excited that he's back in the team. Now, the also good news is that one of our left backs, Thabo Matlaba, has also, served his suspension because he got an immediate red when he was dismissed in our match against Mamelodi Sundowns, therefore leading him to missing 2 goals. No, actually 2 games. So he's back now. So it's a bit of a nice headache for the coach, because you got 2 left backs who are doing very well for Orlando Pirates. That is Patrick Pungayo and also Thabo Matlaba. Now it's going to be in the coach's discretion to say which one to use for this game. But whichever one that he uses, Orlando Pirates fans and also from management side will definitely be behind the coach and the technical team.
Mickey, Dr. Khumalo had a lot to say in the week about this weekend, about it will be easy work down in Durban. What is your advice to Dr. Khumalo and the Chiefs fans that are watching here today?
It will be an easy work for them to lose. It's going to be an easy one. We are going to wrap it up in 90 minutes. The coach has indicated that the manner in which we have prepared, there's no room for penalties, Though we have equally prepared penalties, if it happens to be the ultimate. But, there's not going to be room for penalties. Tactically, we have prepared very well. My players are extremely relaxed. What I like about a derby of this magnitude is that less mistakes. Definitely, we're going to walk away with it. So the inflators came out, and I like what he said, to say that it's going to be a very pulsating match. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be more of a up-tempo match, whereby it's going to be the best derby that people have ever experienced. Because also, I must give it to our rivals. They are currently doing very well, and they are sitting on top of the log. They haven't lost a match. We have drew 2 matches and also lost 1. So it's kind of like say that they are more of an upper hand. But however, in a game of this magnitude, there's no a therefore, Yeah. There's no therefore, because you got 11 players against 11 and you got 3 substitutions. It all depends on how best to utilize them, and also who commits less mistakes. And from the club, psychologically, our players are actually psyched up to make sure that they go in there, less mistakes. Yeah.
Mickey, thank you for joining us today. As they say, the ball is round, the pitch is flat. It's all business tomorrow night. Mickey Madisani joining us live from Durban, giving us the Orlando Pirates side, which will be one of the biggest matches, some say in the world of football, others say on the African continent. One thing's for sure, it's the biggest match in South African sport. Well, finally, we'll take a quick look at what's on social media before we say goodbye. Are we going to our page? No, time has run out, unfortunately. We apologize. But Newsroom, is broadcast live from our studios here in Auckland Park, Johannesburg, every weekday morning between 9 and 10 a.m. The show repeats at 2 in the afternoon with the whole rebroadcast then at 5 a.m. the following day. We also stream live on YouTube at that time with the whole show available on demand on our YouTube channel. This is SABC News. You've been watching Newsroom. We love it in the morning.